Hey guys, Mr. Druid here. So I'm going to go over section 1 of the chapter 10 additional notes. So to start off, let's talk about the bicameral legislature. So in short, bicameral just means, again, two houses. And in the United States, we have the House of Representatives, that's the first house, that's based on population, and we have the Senate, which is based on equal representation. So again, each state gets the same amount of representation, so like 2 senators each. Now, our founding fathers did this on purpose. Our founding fathers did this for a few reasons. They had three main reasons. First, there was the historical reason. In the British had a bicameral system in Parliament. Parliament already had two houses, so they were already familiar with the upper house and the lower house. So there was already a bicameral legislature, so they were familiar with it. And most states, even before the Constitution was ratified, already in their individual states already had a bicameral legislator system. So it was just very popular at the time. Now we learned about this in uh, chapters 2 and 3 that the practical reason is because we kind of needed a bicameral because it was a way of combining the New Jersey plan and the Virginia plan. Bicameralism is just a core part of federalism. It's just a core tenet. Without a bicameral legislature, it's really hard to have federalism. So just know that it was kind of just needed. If we didn't really, it was practical. If we didn't have it, uh, we probably wouldn't have the Constitution today. So it was kind of just needed practically. If they didn't have it, it would have been very difficult. And then lastly, theoretically, having a two-house legislator was kind of like a check, like they check each other. In They were thinking, okay, our founding fathers were like, okay, one house will make sure the other house won't get too powerful, and it's making sure that each state has a voice heard, and not the big states will get all of the uh, decision making in the Congress, or not all the small states will get it. It kind of gives everyone an equal voice. So they did it so you didn't have they did it on purpose so there's a check. So those are the three main uh, reasons why we have a bicameral Congress. So going a little bit down here, so a term of Congress is, again, you watched the other video. Term is two two sessions, so 2 years. So a term lasts 2 years, and there are two sessions in a term. So uh, it's always, and it's 2 consecutive years. It isn't like, oh, there's a skip year. No, it's 2 consecutive years. Um, in 1789, a new term would start in March. So they would start in March. However, with the 20th Amendment, they kind of changed the date of that. And now terms start at noon on the third day in January of every odd number year. So every odd number year, it starts on January, so at noon. So the third day on every odd number year. And the new term, the newest term, just started this year in 2021. So the new term starts this year. So it's an odd number year, and it happened in January. So we just came into session of the current term we are now in. Happened in 2021. Now, we've kind of already talked about sessions in our outline, but remember, a session is a 1 year time span where Congress assembles and they do business. So they make the laws, they do whatever the Congress does. They work, they do their business. And remember that there are two sessions per term. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat that, but you're hearing me say it a lot. So there's two sessions in one term. So now we're in a new term. That means we're in the first session of the term. So after this one session, before the current term ends, there's going to be one more session. So there's two sessions per term. Now, Congress can be called by the president. They have a special session. Now, the president can call a special session, and this is where, uh, if there's like an emergency, like war, or if there's a terrorist attack, or if there's something that's major, and the president, if they're off, like let's say they're not in session, the president could say, "Hey, everyone in Congress, we're meeting up because there's an emergency. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to come here." And this has happened a few times, but it's only happened 27 times in our history. And the last one was called by President Truman in the 1940s. So it's been a while. And again, it's in emergencies. And again, an emergency could be war. So a big one is war, usually during wartime or if there's something major happening in the country and Congress is out of session. Now, this doesn't really happen much anymore because Congress is rarely ever out of session. They're always like sessions lasts a year long. They're 1 year, and the only time they're off is if they're on holiday. And there's a short, like near the end of the year, when they end a session, they don't come back until January. That is a time off, but it's very rare that it happens. Um, can it still happen? Yes, but it's very rare that the president would need to call a special session if everything works out. So that is it for section 1 of our additional notes. So I'll be making a video for section 2 in a little bit. So if you have any questions, again, send me a message, reach out to me. And if not, thank you and have a wonderful day.